Hi, my name is Tara Coyote, and in September 2016, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I decided to take a natural route of healing cancer, and I'm healing extremely well, partially due to my wonderful partner and caregiver, Syris Metara, who has been with me throughout the entire journey. And we decided to make this video because I was a caregiver for my dear friend for 22 months while she went through leukemia, and I know firsthand how beautiful the path of being a caregiver is and how exhausting it is. And I feel like the caregivers need to be recognized for what they do, because it's a path of coming together and sharing, but it can be a path that is incredibly challenging too. So Syris has been wonderful throughout the journey. It's been about a year and 5 months or so. He's given of himself incredibly, and I would not be doing so well without him. So I wanted to take a moment to interview him. So thank you, Syris, for being here.
Thank you.
And I'm curious if you can share with our viewers here how the experience of being with me through this life-threatening diagnosis has been for you.
Yeah, that's a big topic. Thank you. It's been a lot. It's been really intense, and there's really nothing that prepares you for this. The first thing, of course, is the shock of it all. You know, of course, she's this beautiful, vibrant woman, and suddenly diagnosed with cancer. It's like, what? You know, it just out of the blue. And you know, the fear that comes along with that. Of course, cancer is like, you know, a big diagnosis, and the doctors, you know, they have a lot of fear that they bring, and really, you know, immediately we were facing the idea of like, well, you know, what are we going to do? Because the doctors were urging her to really go into things. So for me, it was really about learning to just be really supportive of her in this experience and the initial shock, and not getting into the fear myself, because there was plenty of that that she was facing from, you know, the doctors and friends and family, and you know, people are worried, and so the other thing, I suppose, is just not putting my ideas onto her and not being pushy with, you know, what I think she should do. Like, oh, you should do the chemo like the doctor said, or, you know, that's a big thing. And I really had to come to terms with being okay with, you know, her choices, no matter what they were. And that was something I came to early, was, you know, no matter what she decides to do, whatever course of treatment, I was going to support her 100%. And so that's some of the highlights.
And that made a big difference, because he allowed me to have my space to come to my decision point, what was right for me. We jumped into tons of research, and the fact that Syris really was supportive of me and whatever I decided allowed me a lot of spaciousness to feel safe in the decision process. So I thank you so much for doing that. Mm-hmm. So what were some of the challenges of this journey so far?
Wow. Yeah, you know, I suppose the relationship, you know, takes a big hit when something like this happens. It comes out of the blue and is really shocking. You know, what happened immediately was like all the trivial, meaningless nonsense that we would argue about or you know, have fussiness around went off the table. It's like, okay, we don't have time for this anymore. And as you know, for me especially, it really helped to clear away things that really were meaningless, and be present for her in a way that was different. So, you know, really dealing with the relationship challenges that came with it. You know, for the person who's the partner of someone who's diagnosed with cancer, there's there's a lot there. I had to really come to terms with not only the fact that she had cancer and it's a life-threatening disease and she could die. So do I even want to do this? I mean, and she asked me, and that's a big question. I'm sure every partner has to face, like, oh my God, and of course I'm like, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be supportive and whatever it takes, to get through this. And I really believe that we're together for a reason. And I didn't know it was this reason, but, I'm glad we were together when this happened and that I could be here and be really supportive of her. The second big thing was, she was choosing this route that the doctors weren't so happy about, or, neither was the family. And friends were questioning the whole alternative route. And so that's a whole other thing, is like, okay, am I 100% behind this? And that was something that I do believe in what she's doing, and I do believe that we have the ability to heal ourselves. But I tell her jokingly, it's kind of crazy, what you're doing. It's still forging a new reality, and she's one of the 100 monkeys, so to speak, that's, peeling her banana right now, and we're all watching her going, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could even do that. Is that real? And so she's helping, to spread the word about this idea, and more of us are beginning to question, wow, maybe we can heal ourselves. And so I think that's a beautiful thing, and I want to support that. But it's walking that fine line, and that requires something that, a level of support that takes, it's been a process. Let's put it that way, learning to be more and more supportive along the journey with her. So.
Oh, you've done it beautifully.
Wow. Thank you.
It's everyday process, it still is. So what have some of the blessings been so far? It's important to acknowledge the blessings, because amidst the hardship, there is a lot of beauty and there is a lot of potential. There is a lot of growth. So.
Right.
What are some of the blessings for you?
Well, right off the bat, it really helped bring us together, like I mentioned earlier. Tara's a very strong-willed woman, and she's running this ranch all by herself, and she didn't need help with anything, and so when this happened, the diagnosis, it's not only did it give me an opportunity to really step up and be very supportive and helpful in as many ways as I could for her, it gave her an opportunity to allow me to be helpful, right?
Yes, I do want to say I am a very strong, determined woman, and there was something about the diagnosis when it came. It made me realize that I had to learn to ask for help, and I had to learn to receive help, and that's been an incredible gift for me. Not only has Syris stepped up, but my community and friends and family in a new way. So, So the fact that he was here and so willing to help was incredibly healing for me.
Yeah. So, in a strange way, it really did help bring us together in much tighter bond of love and vulnerability. We've done a lot of work. There's just immense opportunity for growth in this journey for both. I'm facing my deepest stuff, and I have been through this whole journey. So it's, it isn't just the person going with the diagnosis that it is having to confront some deep issues. I've been doing it as well. And so, that adds another level of pressure to the relationship, but the blessing is that we're doing that deep work. It's the deep down mucky stuff, the fears and confronting our own mortality and the stuff that, is sometimes hard to get at in a normal mode of life. And so, the blessing there is that we've found some jewels, and we're doing healing work, and it's really given me an opportunity to really come into a new level of my own masculinity and what it means to be a partner. And so, you know, it's really helped me to hone some skills like listening. You know, that's something that I've really had to focus on. There's a lot of expression that Tara has gone through, and there's not like a fix it thing here I can do, like, oh, let me tell you how to fix all this. That's, you know, it's no, it's just, she just needs to talk about these things, and whatever the fears are, you know, anything that's really up. And so learning to be, you know, present in that way has been a gift, and it's helped me to sort of round out and get some of the sharp edges off of my own personality. And so that's been a big blessing.
Great. So what are some basic points of advice you could tell the listeners?
Advice, wow.
Just a couple pointers.
Don't get cancer. No, sorry, that's silly. I would say that, you know, for men, well, it's for partners, you know, it's learning to be really present, you know. There's a lot that happens, you know, and a lot that comes up, and there's a tendency to want to either go into fear or go into positivity and kind of gloss over, you know, the stuff with like, oh, don't worry, you know. So there's a neutral zone that I've learned to hang out in, and you know, it's acknowledging the potential negative consequences and being with, you know, what would be considered negative situations, but it's also, you know, not being totally in the positive. So it's, you know,
it's a journey.
It's just,
a deep dive journey. It's very full.
I could go on and on about this.
There's a lot of riches. It's like the heroine's or hero's journey. You face monsters, there's a lot of gifts, and you keep going.
Yeah. So presence, patience, that was the other one. I had a little mind break there. But yeah, you know, being patient, you know, has been a huge thing that I've really had to learn. And, you know, that comes with the territory, and I'd throw compassion in there, you know.
Compassion is good.
Yeah. So little tidbits of advice, I suppose.
Well, thank you so much for taking time, and really urge you caregivers to hang in there and make sure you keep nurturing yourself, because it's so important to nurture yourself when you're giving so much. You can't keep giving unless you receive and rest. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to know more about my journey, you can go to my website, which is cancerwarrioress.com, and I also have a Facebook page called Cancer Warrioress. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.